And welcome back, footy fans, to another episode of Donnie's Disposals. I am your host, Coach Donnie Hess here, back with another AFL off-season supporter series. Yes, we have the ladies on display for this particular off-season supporter series. And ladies and gentlemen, joining me from Australia, cannot wait for this. This is going to be a fun chat because everything that I've seen, this lady here is going to be a perfect chat when it comes to her club. I will not say it as per usual. I will always let my co-host talk about it. But we have Susan joining us. Susan, it is great to have you on the podcast and welcome on.
Oh, thank you so much, Donnie. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome, awesome. So we will hop right into it before we get into the football, because that's what everybody's here for. I like finding just the littlest bit about the person that I'm talking with outside of. So if you could do me just the tiniest favor, give us a little bit about yourself outside of the game of football.
Okay, well, I'm a retired school teacher. I'm a wife. I've got three children, grown or adult children, and two grandchildren. That's as far as the family goes, and I have lots and lots of hobbies that I like to do, especially gardening and looking after the grandchildren, and making lots of sporting memorabilia as well. And that to me takes up a lot of my time.
Fantastic. That sounds like awesome, awesome work there. So let's hop right into it. I gotta ask this. What is your favorite thing about the sport of Aussie rules football?
Well, number one, it's just the atmosphere, the people that I've met, and I still keep meeting new people all the time. You belong to a great, great, great big family. And I think that's the most important part. Volunteering, I do a lot of volunteering there as well, looking after all age groups, different types of people who come out just for one game each week, and you're there to help them out. But it's one of those things that you just can't live without.
Yeah. Especially being in Victoria, it is almost a way of life when it comes to it. So I'm fascinated on this because as you have said, you've had many years watching this wonderful sport. I know this may not be easy. Earliest football memory that you can recall.
Okay. The earliest one, I was 5 years old, and I was given a membership card, and I took it to school in my prep year, foundation year. And we have in Australia, I don't know if you have it too, we call it show and tell,
Hmm.
and you bring something from home and you talk about it. That was my first real connection, even though I'd been taken to the football in the pram when I was younger. But I don't remember that. I just got told those little facts. But the membership card was the one that I still remember. And that was 64 years ago that I got
Wow.
that card, that I've
That
been an official member of our team in
that
Victoria.
is
Yeah.
that is fantastic. Absolutely love it. The history is incredible. Again, I absolutely love it. So anybody that's watching the YouTube video will know exactly who Susan's club is. But for those that are listening to the podcast, I will let you have your humble brag. Who is the club that you support and how did you come to support them?
Okay. Yes, it's the mighty Western Bulldogs that used to be called the Footscray Football Club, which they still are associated with. And the reason that I follow the Bulldogs, I'm going to just turn a little bit here. And I'll take down, I have a photo here. This is my uncle, and he was 17 years of age in this photo for the Western
Mhm.
Bulldogs. I haven't got a coloured one because it was this is in 1935, and that was his first jumper in the old woolen jumpers that we used to have
Love it.
when football first took off. And I've also got here uh, another photo of him when he was 88 in this photo. And there he is with one of the original jumpers and two of the past players that used to play for the Bulldogs, but they took him out for his lunch one day, picked him up in a limo, and he's the big connection to me and the whole of my family. We had to barrack for the Bulldogs. We lived in Footscray,
Hmm.
born in Footscray Hospital. He lived around the corner. We had to barrack for the Bulldogs, and it's stayed ever since. So I from birth up until now, I'm nearly 70, so I'm still Bulldogs and always will be. And that's where it's all
Fantastic.
come from.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And the family connection is always great. And I know I've heard it from, but I'll ask this just because it's always someone's fun. Is there anybody in the family that became the black sheep that started to support another footy club?
Um, Absolutely. Um, when I first dated my husband, he was a Collingwood supporter, all the Pies. And lots of people said to me, "Why are you going out with a Pie supporter? Should be a Bulldog supporter." Anyway, that didn't bother me too much because he loved football and he loves football just as much as I do.
Hmm.
And after we had our children, I always said that they can choose a team that they who they want to barrack for, even though they've got Collingwood memorabilia and Bulldog memorabilia. So we
Hmm.
let them choose a club. So in fact, got the three children. Two of the children went with the Pies because they'd won more premierships,
Hmm.
and they were really into that. And I had lucky to grab one of the daughters, and she just said, "No, I'll come with the Bulldogs with you, Mum." So I have one daughter. The other daughter is one daughter Bulldogs, the other daughter's the Pies, and our son is the Pies as well. So living with three Pie supporters, and we had two Bulldog supporters in the family, but we all get along.
Fantastic. And I bet the banter's got to be great. Pies and Bulldogs matches, the banter's got to be fantastic, right?
Oh, absolutely. Someone comes home happy, someone's not. But we're not sort of a family where we hold grudges or anything. We have
Hmm.
a little bit of a banter, and we get over it and move on to the next week.
Yeah, have a little bit of fun. Absolutely love it. Okay, so
Yes.
I'm gonna change the next one because you told us about your the membership card that you took in for show and tell. So can you remember the first Bulldogs item that you yourself purchased?
It was a t-shirt or a polo
Hmm.
shirt that I first purchased because it was something that you really didn't have a lot of back in the early days. You just had either a blue shirt or you just wore a scarf. Whereas
Hmm.
I wanted to have a polo shirt that actually had Bulldogs or Footscray Football Club written on it. That
Hmm.
was my first shirt, and I haven't got it now, but wish I'd hung on to it. Would have been great.
Yeah, sometimes those old ones are absolutely fantastic. So as
Yes.
as I go through this series, what I absolutely love is that as as a sports person, fandom is the most interesting thing in the world because it is never the same amongst anybody. Not one person fans the same as another. So it's absolutely fascinating. So I want you to tell me this a little bit. As you said, you have years and years of supporting the Western Bulldogs. So can you describe your fandom to me? Like, are you one of those that every single game you have to be on at the telly or at the ground to be able to watch it? Or is there any time that you can kind of step away? So describe your fandom for me.
No, I find it very difficult to stand away. I used to go to every single game, including going interstate. So we would go up into Queensland, Northern Territory, follow them all. But since the grandchildren have been born, I needed to be around because we actually, mind a big part of our lives. But I do go to all the home games. Class is a home game, which is in Victoria. So
Mm,
go to all of those. Outside the gate 3 hours, 2 hours before the game actually starts. I don't need to be because we have reserved seats inside the stadiums,
mhm,
but it's just being outside that ground and chatting to everybody, and everyone's excited. Just the hype of talking about and seeing lining up with everybody with the same colours on and chatting about what your expectations are of that game and how they're going to go. And we all look at each other's clothing. We all look at each other's, like some of the ladies have Bulldog handbags, some of the guys have great beanies or caps. And we like to look at how we are all dressed up. We're all become one, and we
mhm,
all admire each other. We have the best colours. We have the same colours as the US and many European countries, the red, white, and blue. When we travelled overseas, we had red, white, and blue everywhere in different countries. And of course, you could buy a t-shirt or a scarf in red, white, and blue colours, but they're not necessarily Western Bulldogs
Hmm.
with written on it, but they're the same colours. Oh,
Yep.
it's just awesome.
I love that connection. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Absolutely. So as I told a lot of people, this particular series is focused on female fandom because again, I'm a bloke. I will never be able to experience what female fans go through. So I want to go through it and ask you is, do you feel you were ever treated differently as a female football supporter?
Absolutely not. Everybody was just the same. We all got along. Sometimes maybe if some heavy lifting was involved because we're volunteering and taking out the big banner that the
Hmm.
players would run through, the guys often would go and help. But you were also welcome to help if you wished to. It didn't matter what gender you were at the time, but always treated the same, always respectful, no difference at all. You see the women come in, they're just as hype as the men. Yeah, we're all one big family, even though we're all different age groups. We have some senior people. We have people who bring their little couple of month-old babies to the football. Everybody's all the same, but the female side of things, no different at all. And I have a photo here of when I'm not sure if you can see that
I
there.
can see it. Yep.
There's my two daughters were invited to come into the cheer squad, one for a particular match, and they're down the front with two other guys here lifting these heavy floggers that are
Hmm.
waved after a goal is scored. And
Yep.
I'm in the background with one of the signs that I had made many years ago. But the girls did the same things as what the boys do. It doesn't matter what gender you are, and we just admire everybody for coming along for the game. We just want their bodies, their bums in seats, we say,
Hmm.
and we really enjoy. And it's great having the different genders. You sit with some lovely people dads who bring their sons and daughters to the footy, and you've got grandparents bringing grandchildren. It doesn't matter. Everybody's the same.
Hmm. Absolutely love it. But and that's fantastic that you've had that experience because unfortunately I've talked with some that it's not always the same way. So I asked this for you, could you give some advice to female fans that are maybe listening to us? Is one way that you really helps you enjoy the football?
Enjoying the football is quite a big, it's hard not to, but I think it depends on your personality as well. I go to the football to enjoy. Some people perhaps may not, but um, when you come as a female, you've just sort of got to block it out sometimes if you hear a bit of language maybe that's not appropriate. But that's just life in general these days. You can. Lots of language is used at the wrong time and the way you treat it, but you just ignore all that. You're there for one reason. You're there to see, you're loyal, you're passionate. You forget about all that other stuff, and you come there to watch this game and to watch your guys out on the arena. You're there to chat to people. You're there for that main reason is you're just passionate and mad about your club and red, white,
Hmm.
and blue colours. So you put all that other stuff behind you, but when you do come, and if you knew at the time, you don't take it to heart. You're there to watch the boys. You
Hmm.
watch them try and win the game and progress throughout the season. And hopefully they climb up the ladder and do well for finals. But when you come along, just enjoy yourself. That's what
Yeah.
it's all about.
100% with you. Absolutely love it. So let's hop to it again. You have many a years. So this one's a fun one for me. Can you remember the first ever Western Bulldogs game that you attended live?
The first one that I attended live, yes, I remember the one. I was probably about uh, uh, oh no. I can remember a lot, but one that stands out. Um, it was a game where I've just got to try and remember when it was. I've forgotten that one. Um, a live game. Look, one doesn't really stand out at the moment, but I used to be there, all of them, but a lot of it's a blur, which one was more important than the other.
Hmm.
Um, but it was every Saturday, a ritual every Saturday afternoon. the football used to be in Victoria, used to be just the VFL.
Hmm.
And it was just in Victoria. It started at 2 o'clock. So that was just part of my daily, every Saturday we would go to the football. So we would go watch the footy, then we'd go home, have some pies for dinner at night time. And then on the Sunday, we would go to the VFA, which was another competition that was played on a Sunday. So you'd go to those as well. So there were lots and lots of games, but not one in particular, no.
That's perfectly fine. So, in fact, I cannot wait for this one because you've seen some fantastic footballers wear the red, white, and blue for the Western Bulldogs. So I'm going to ask this. I know this isn't easy. Do you have a favorite player of the past that's worn the jumper? And do you have a favorite player currently on the Western Bulldogs
Okay.
list?
Definitely my favourite one in the past was and Freud mentioned this particular person. This is EJ Witten,
Hmm.
who is just a legend of our club, who passed away. He was very unwell at the time, but he was just the best, as in, number one, a person. Number two, remembered your name. Number three, was an outstanding player. Number four, an outstanding coach. And I used to stand next to the player race where they ran out, and he would always give you a high five and always remember your name. He visited my primary school when I was younger, and that was just the ants pants. Everybody loved EJ Witten because
Hmm.
he would come to your schools. It's a little bit different now where it happens all the time, but this was a unique man who lived in the area, who would come to all the local schools and kick the footy with boys and any girls who wanted to join in as well. So EJ, definitely my favourite player from the past, even
Okay.
though he's in heaven.
Favorite player currently on the doggies list?
Okay, I don't have a favourite player. I tend not to do that because I love all of them.
It's like picking
Um,
a favorite child, right?
yes, it is. I don't want to be biased towards any, but I go for the coaches. Bevo, our coach,
Hmm.
who got us through into 2014, where the club was a bit disastrous. He came in 2015, changed a few things, and then all of a sudden in 2016 got the premiership. And here's
Hmm.
this man here who also remembers your name every time you see him. He's an amazing person. I have much pride for him. I've made lots of signs for him. I've got t-shirts with him on his face on there. Yeah, I can't choose a player because I love them all. But
Hmm.
Bevo's my favourite at the club, as in a person at the club.
Nothing wrong with that. I know it's never easy. I have that same affliction when it comes to with my team. It's like if you ask me, it's hard for me to sit here and say it. I mean, if you twist my arm, I could probably find one, but I'm with you. It's very difficult. So, and then I love this. Again, you've had many, many years. I want this. What's the one memory that will always stick out? Most memorable moment so far as a Duckies supporter?
Okay, there was a game that was played in let me think of when it was. Um, it was 50 years ago, put it that
Hmm.
way. Um, and it was in 1995, so last year. Okay. Um, we had, let me see here. It's a game where we played against St Kilda, and our team kicked the highest score. It was a record score, so they kicked 213 points, which was 33 goals, 15 behinds for the game. St Kilda kicked 16 goals, 10 behinds, and that was 106. But we had a player that just kicked 15 goals for that one game, and that was Kelvin Templeton. I remember that game, it just went on and on. It was another goal, another goal, another goal. And you sort of went home with sore hands from clapping the amount of time. But there's been a lot of other games, but that particular game was my favourite, apart from the grand final in 2016. But
Hmm.
this game always sticks in my memory of the highest score that there was a record made back then, long, long time ago, but it was fantastic. And I remember it just as much as I remember the grand final, which was only 10 years ago. So it was a fantastic game to remember.
Love those stories. Absolutely. So we'll go a little bit more to the present and ask you as this, as somebody that keeps track of the doggies so much, your thoughts on last year's Western Bulldog season.
Last year was a tricky year in that they were sort of up and down the ladder a little bit. They we sort of made the finals, but at the same time, we missed out. It was very close for sort of seventh and eighth spot at the time as well, and I think too we just had we needed to do some getting some new recruits in just to fill some other spots. You know, you get to the stage where your team has some aging players that may not be able to keep up with have the same statistics as what some of the younger players that are playing for other teams. But at the same time, you need that experience to give you the guidance and they've played finals before. A lot of our new players in the team hadn't played finals before, which I think was really important for to happen. So, not well, I wasn't disappointed. Put it that way. I wasn't disappointed in our game, our year. I go anytime, but if finals is a bonus, I see finals as a bonus. And if you don't make the finals, well, that just is more incentive for the next year after that. It's a little bit pressure on the coach and the coaching staff at times, but I don't put pressure on them. It's just one of those things. You have players that play very well sometimes, and they're human. Sometimes
Mhm.
they can't do their best all the time, but they do try. They don't deliberately go out to lose a game. Put it that way.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm fully with you on that. So as your fandom, sometimes, especially over here, is everybody keeps an eye on the off season. So, are you
Yes.
an off season watcher? Do you keep track of who's coming in? Do you keep track of the draft? So do you keep an eye on it just as much during the off season?
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. I love watching all the. Well, there's so many drafts now. You just have to sort of. It gets a little bit tricky trying to understand them. Um, yes, and it's lovely to see where these players are coming from, how old they are, their experience they've got, and you see a little video snippet of their ability and I just love watching when it's announced that they've been chosen to play for the Western Bulldogs and the excitement. They're all jumping on top of each other and cheering each other on, and so happy. But it's important that you have, and we've got three new boys that we got last year was Cooper Hines and Zach Walker and Michael Selwood. That just to name a few. They just were just excelling for their age and they fitted well into our team. But I think too, we we need you've got to keep your key positions nice and young, and you've got to strengthen those areas in your team, even though you can't keep the same players all the time. So it's nice to see, well, some of these new people might be able to fit into those positions.
Mhm.
Um, it's you know you just got to look at them as yeah they're going to be a wealth of knowledge for our team, and hopefully that'll improve and you end up making the finals and winning another premiership, which is that's the pressure at the moment is winning another premiership because it was
Mhm.
10 years ago. So the pressure's on a little bit, but yeah, you got to keep up with the off season to know what's happening and learn their numbers, how old they are, who are they. A lot of
Mhm.
people ask me when we go to practice matches, oh, who's this new guy? And, you know,
Mhm.
they expect me. So I've got to keep up with it as well. That's the other reason, not just for my own benefit. A lot of people just say, oh, who's that? Who's that? Where'd he come from or she
Mhm.
come from? You know, I have to keep that going. So it's a bit tricky for me. I'm under the pump a little bit.
Well, trust me, as somebody that keeps track of the entire competition at many times, sometimes it's
Oh,
not even easy for me to do it.
I can imagine.
So I can get it. So I'm 100% with you on that. So my next question, and I really need to edit this, and I say this every podcast, I really shouldn't, but in the questionnaire that I sent you, I said, "What are your expectations?" And I really should change that because personally, I'm never an expectations guy. There are some things I'd like to see, but I hate
Mm.
saying expectations because it's something that you think should happen. So I ask you, what are your thoughts going into next year? Do you have expectations? And where do you see the Western Bulldogs landing next year in the ladder that is the AFL?
Um, well, sort of, I've touched a little bit on that. My expectations of is, climbing, and that's climbing a ladder and winning a premiership because that's what it's all
Hmm.
about. When
Yep.
you're playing sport and it's competition, the competition is to hold that cup up at the end of the season, and that's what they're all playing for. Even though there's all the underneath that, there's all the other excitements and all the ambition that you want to improve yourself as a player. You want to improve yourself. You are enjoying the comradeship that you get at a sporting club. But my expectation is just, yes, to try and win another premiership because we were 10 years ago. But it does take time. It's like building a house. You've got to build it properly from the basis and build it up. Otherwise, it's going to fall down. And that's exactly what
Hmm.
can happen in a football club. You've got to have your right recruitment officers. They've got to go out and do their homework, which they do. They go out to, some of them have been watching players for 2 years. Um, so they watch where they're going. And then that I expect them to do their job so that they come back. They're the expert. They've got the expertise to build our club together. So
Hmm.
that's my expectation, that they've chosen the right players for the Bulldogs to climb up a ladder and win a premiership, even though I try, as I'm the same for you, I don't want to say expectations, but you have to. That's part of it.
Hmm. Yep.
It's
Well,
part of a team and
yep.
progression.
Yep. And again, there's nothing wrong with a fan having expectations of what they want their club to do. But I guess for me, I've always been that I hate feeling like I'm putting pressure on the club to say go to expectations for me. So it's like, do I want them to make finals? Absolutely. Do I expect it? I never know because again, the injury bug can bite anybody at any
Of
time.
course.
Any season can happen. That's how I kind of take it is that I kind of enjoy the ride. I sit down and I go, how's this season going to go? And just sit down, lock myself into the roller coaster that is the footy season and just go. So,
See
all right.
what happens.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So I want to have fun. My next question, as somebody that I sit here and I play fantasy footy, and it is one of those that I think everybody kind of sits there and they love being the general manager up here, the list manager down there. So I'm gonna have a little bit of fun. I'm gonna install you as the men's list manager for one day. All the other 17 clubs are open. You can snatch one player from any of the other 17 other clubs in the country to join the doggies to give them that opportunity to maybe go chase another flag, to chase another flag. Who's that one player you bring over to Footscray and why?
Oh, I'd have to say, a lovely guy called Zach Butters, and he plays for Port Adelaide
Adelaide,
at
yep.
the moment. Um, and he has another 12 months, I think, of his contract. Then he becomes, I think, classed as a free agent,
Hmm.
where the Bulldogs have got an opportunity to pick him up. He just watching him play, his creativity and in the midfield, he's just everywhere. Like he doesn't kick a lot of goals. He will be in a goal assist. So he's pretty good at passing the ball to another player so they can go off and kick goals. And that's what you want.
Hmm.
And he's like, to me, he's like the engine in the middle of the ground. And I think he's really important. He'd be lovely. The thing is,
Hmm.
he's actually that's a Port Adelaide in South Australia, the state of South Australia. This Zach Butters actually has a home in Victoria.
Hmm.
So he's actually a Victorian person. His family's in Victoria. So there's a lot of pros and
Hmm.
cons, but I think there's more pros for him to come into our team. And I think he'd fit in beautifully in a red, white, and blue Guernsey rather than the
The
other one
teal and
from, I
black.
won't mention
Yep.
the colours. Yes, but I'd like to see Zach Butters. I think he'd fit in very well with Tony Liberatore and Bonte, our magnificent midfield. I could see him just, plus he's a lot younger than them. They're getting to the end of their 20s, and it's just nice to have a younger think he's about 23 or something like that. I think
Hmm.
he'd be lovely, a great pickup if we could have him.
Yep, he would definitely be a solid one. I know that's one of the free agents that everybody's looking at going into next year. Could be
Yes.
where does Butters land to be fascinating on that one. So as much as I love talking the men's competition, I am also a huge supporter of the AFLW and women's footy. So I
Mm.
asked this, Susan, because I see in your background you have the amazing Ellie Blackburn on the back. So I
Oh
take it
yes.
you keep an eye on the doggies women, and if so, your thoughts on the Western Bulldogs women's season this year.
Yes, but before I answer that, yes, I've been a follower of the women's right from day one. Um, gone to all the games, and our girls won the premiership in
Hmm.
2018 with all their new players, and it was a lot to come back to of a magnificent lady called Susan Alberti,
Yeah.
who's been with our club. She's been longer than I have, and it was her goal, her ambition in life to get women's games up and going. And she's just been an ambassador. She's just an amazing lady to get it all going. So it's a
Hmm.
big shout out to her and the pat on the back, because she's just got this game competition up and going. And the competition has just gone from, of course, it's like starting with anything. It was a new thing. Not a lot of girls played football. A lot of the girls who do now play football came from other sports, volleyballers, netballers, basketballers, and it's been a new another. Once the boys stop playing, well, then we've got the girls to watch. So it's a
Hmm.
continuation of the season, which now goes into October, and it just makes it fantastic being able to
Hmm.
go to the footy. But yes, definitely the women. I've been watching the recruits that have. We're getting some exciting, or we've got some exciting new players coming to the Bulldogs, which
Hmm.
there's a couple of ladies. One lady called Michaela Cam. She's come from the Pie as well. Just watching her play in her little
Hmm.
video snippets is just something to look forward to. Another lady, um, Charlie O'Connor Marira, and she's another lady too, that she's young, but at the same time, I could see her fitting in, lots of guts and determination, and they're the sort of players I like to see as well. And we've got another lady too, who Mizuki, she has a Japanese mum,
Hmm.
and her dad's an Aussie, and she just is it just amazing to have her. Like, she's quite tall too, and she takes some great marks as well. So we've got three really lovely, great ladies to come into our side for next year. It'll be great to see her. In particular, Mizuki, because I think she'll be like the first Japanese um, descent come into the AFLW or AFL really. But I also watch the VFLW. So there's
Hmm.
the other side of it as well. So there's lots of ladies' games that you can go to see. You can go and watch them. You can see them online. You meet them, and that's the thing with the women's games. They're a little bit more personal. That's why I like to go to them, because you have that opportunity, because you're playing at local games, local grounds, pardon me, and you've got the opportunity to go and talk to them in person, a little bit easier than the AFL.
Hmm.
And the ladies are just magnificent. They love your support. They always thank you. And of course, yes, the Ellie, she's just amazing. But she's very humble too. She doesn't want all the big
Hmm.
pat on the backs. But there's other people besides Ellie. But yeah, you can't help but have pictures of her.
Yeah, no, Ellie is absolutely fantastic. She's one of my favorites in the competition because she's as tough as nails and
Oh,
solid
absolutely.
football player. Absolutely love her. And then when she comes on and she does the special comments for Fox Footy or any of the others, she's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely love Ellie to death. So is it the same thing? Is it the same thing with the men's? You don't have a favorite player because you can't pick one, or is Ellie get the mark for the favorite player on the doggies women's side?
Probably the same, but because she's been around for such a long time, you get to know her personally.
Hmm.
And there are a couple of other players too that Izzy Grant,
Yep, love
she's been
Izzy. Yep.
around for a while too. And then it's lovely to see that father-daughter
Yep.
coming into the women's, not just the men's as well.
Yep.
Father-son you see in the AFL, but this father-daughter bit's just superb. I think that's just wonderful. But
Hmm.
yeah, when you get to know these players and they've been around for a while, they do, deep down become your favourites. But I still like to have go in bit neutral at times. I love all the girls.
Yep. Yeah.
And the
It's hard.
coach too, Tammy. Yeah,
Exactly. Oh yeah.
Tamara. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's just awesome. The
Yeah, she was
coach.
fantastic. She was fantastic this year. Really, really, I think she jump-started the Western Bulldogs program into good, really, really good things. Elaine Grigg is one of those. I saw her play in
Oh,
South
yes.
Australia. I saw her play at this in the Sanford W level in her underage years before she got drafted. And I said she was a magnificent pickup for you guys there. Isabel Pritchard is another one. With Amy Grant, the video of her telling her dad she was going to make her debut, and the smile and the tear in his eye that when he found out that his daughter was going to be wearing his Guernsey as well, the same number,
Yes.
was
Same number.
those are,
Yes.
I'm 100% with you. I love the story. I cannot wait for the mother son or the mother daughter starts picks
Yes.
as we start getting more and more years of these women playing, and then them at maybe years having children, and maybe potentially them coming back to the club that they played for. Cannot wait for that. So I'm 100% with you. The father son, the father daughter, all those, love the connection with the club. It's absolutely magnificent. So we're getting towards the end, and as I've told most people, I have not been to Australia. It is my goal to get there and to enjoy some footy when I get down there. So I'm doing some research, and I want to be sure that when I go, I have the best possible experience. So for you, Susan, when you go to the footy, do you have a go-to food that you have to have when you go to the footy?
Well, I don't buy any food at the football. So when you arrive, Donny, you've got to make your own choice there because there's a
Hmm.
variety of different foods that you can purchase. I always take my own. So we have the lady that I pick up, Mari, we take our own rolls. We get a bread roll and we fill it with yummy stuff and wrap it up in foil. And people say, "Where'd you get that from? Where'd you get that from?" And I thinking
Home.
that we'd purchased it at the ground. And I'm going, no, we brought it from home. And yeah, so we don't really have a favourite food at the footy, but there's a lot of variety.
Mhm.
Food at the football, especially the big stadiums like Marvel Stadium and the G, they're all coming into. You can sort of buy your noodles and fried rices, and you can buy souvlaki's. So it's sort of getting a lot better. It's sort of tending to go away from the meat pie and a
Mhm.
sausage roll and a beer. So there's lots of food there now, but I always tend to take my own. So sorry to disappoint you there.
That's not a problem. And to each, you are not the only one. I know I talked to one fellow who's a Carlton fan that doesn't eat because he says he's too nervous. He'll have it. He
Ah,
has one beer, and that's all he can have at the footy because he's too nervous because he wants to enjoy the footy, but he can't eat. That's just so. If you're not the first one to say that, it is not a problem. It's just, I get a lot of people that like. The prototypicals, the meat pie with tomato sauce, they get the hot chippies, and then like I said, some of them they've been fantastic. There's the Adelaide Oval has got some like Indian. There's like an Indian food place that goes there that a lot of people have absolutely just adored there. So it's a little bit of everything. So it's not a
yes.
problem. I take no offense, but this is the one I know you can answer. Okay, I need to know where is the best place to possibly sit. As somebody, as you said, you've been in the cheer squad. You sat there. Where is you? What do you think is the ideal place to sit to go to when you're at the footy?
Okay. If you're just a visitor for the day, which some people are, and they just go to an AFL game,
Mhm.
um, yeah, behind the goals where the cheer squad's behind the goals, but at the same time, in the middle of the ground, down front row, right in the middle where you can see the bounce of the ball is awesome. If you can go up to another level, is a little bit even better because you get a better view of the whole ground.
Mhm.
But that's just the AFL games. And I have a reserved seat too, so I can choose. I can sit with the cheer squad, or I can sit in another seat, which is right near where the players run out. That's a good spot too.
Mhm.
But at the same time, when if you're going to watch an AFLW game or a VFL game, up close and personal, right on the fence, right next to the race where the players run out, where you get high fives as they run past you. You get to chat to them after the game. You get the signatures on your hats, on your jumpers, whatever you like. I find the fence is around the fence. The boundary line
Mhm.
is the best spot. But if you wish to have another view as well, if the weather's not too crash hot, which that's what can happen because it is a winter sport, we
Mhm.
have grandstands where you can go up nice and high and you're undercover and you keep warm and out of the rain, or the opposite, if it's quite warm, which some of the practice matches start in February.
Mhm.
So you can go into a grandstand and watch from up there, or under a tree at the local grounds. They have trees where there's a bit of shade. So there's lots of different spots, and I change my spots depending on the weather.
Mhm. Yeah, always fun when it comes to it, and appreciate that. So, and then I always end my episode with this. This has been a fun question for me because I've gotten a little playlist, and this is a lot of fun. So I asked this: favorite game of football you have ever seen, whether at the ground live, on the telly, doesn't matter, in the past, men's, women's, favorite game of football you have ever seen.
Oh, it'd have to be the 2016 grand final.
Hmm.
A lot of people have said, "Oh, the prelim leading up to that," but being at the grand final, the match itself was just fantastic. Them holding up the cup at the end of the game, but being part of it, being out on the ground, holding up the banner, listening to the national anthem, listening to your theme song at the end with the confetti being blown everywhere. So the whole day, starting from like we were there very early, probably 11 a.m., setting things up, the colour, the hype, and the actual game itself. Unfortunately, it was against Sydney, but it was just, yeah, I was just so happy to be around to watch this grand final because the last one was 1954
Hmm.
and I wasn't born then, and I just wanted to have a grand final up my sleeve in my bucket list. So I'm very happy with that. So it ticks the boxes for a lot of pulls the heartstrings. I have a photo here with a with one of my lady friends
Hmm.
with the Premiership
Ship
Cup,
Cup. Yep.
and she was one of the ladies, or one of the I picked her up and took her to this day so she could actually go and hold the finds it difficult to walk. So I picked her up and took her there so she could have an opportunity to hold the Premiership Cup up. So you have to go to the right places to be able to do this.
Hmm.
Um, and Joan was very appreciative of that. But that whole thing, we got the cup. That's what the players play for. That's
Yep.
what I wanted. So that's why it has to be my favourite game,
Yep.
because we achieved that Premiership Cup that I wanted to achieve too.
Yeah, well, it was one of the, like I said, as we said pre-Mike, I told Susan this. I said even as a Swan supporter, there was a little part of me that was happy for the Western Bulldog supporters because it had been so long, and I know there were Swan supporters who I'd talked to that had dealt with the 72 years worth of no premierships, so we kind of felt it a little bit. So completely
Yes.
understand that, and to see Bob Murphy get a little bit of love from Bevo too, despite having to go through it's one of those where I argue when it comes to it that I think all the players in the list should get a premiership medal personally. But again, I won't open that can of worms for some people on
Yeah.
that. So,
Totally
so
agree with you. I can't see why not. But anyway, yes.
it's I don't know. I don't know. We won't get into that. Well, Susan, that is it. That is all my questions. This has been a fantastic conversation again to see your love of the Western Bulldogs is absolutely fantastic. I even called them Footscray myself several times,
Oh, as you do, that's fine.
not
I
just the
do too.
VFL side, because I think it's awesome. I know some people have said that they think it'd be great if they actually did fully go to Footscray back again. But again, we won't go into that. But this has been a magnificent conversation. Thank you so much for hopping on the podcast and sharing your love of the Western Bulldogs with me.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. I was very proud the fact that Frode asked me to do this. I was very honoured, and also listening to you interview people. It's fantastic to you do a fantastic job, and um, you're a very busy person. I know that you're just very, very passionate with what you do too. So it's the same for you. I'm just excited the fact that I got to meet you, and it's been wonderful too. So if you do come down under, you need to keep in contact because we'll take you to the footy and give you a great experience. Even let you sit in the cheer squad, mate.
I absolutely love it. I will definitely cash in on that. I know I'm starting to tick up a list of people that I know if I ever get down there. I think I've got at least 6 or 7 people that have said they got their first beer. They got my first beer when I get down
Oh, naturally,
there.
of course,
So, which
absolutely.
is
Go out to the
absolutely
ground and hold up the banner and do all this sort of thing. That'd be, yeah, we'd
yeah.
look after you, no worries.
Oh yeah, I joked with a few friends of mine up here. I said I could probably couch surf across most of the country and never touch a hotel room just because I've
Exactly
got
right.
so many
Exactly
people.
right.
But I absolutely love it. I appreciate it. Like I said, I've fallen in love with this sport. I do the podcast purely on the fact that the sport has been so awesome. There's so many people that support it, and I just love these stories like this, like yours, Susan, that have so many years of passion. And I absolutely love it. So ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this particular episode of Donnie's Disposals. Again, keep track. More of these supporter series still to come. I've still got a few other things. Again, this is kind of going to be the off season of the female connection to footy. So I'm hoping I've got a few things in the fire that I'm hoping to have for you, as well as more of these chats with some absolutely fantastic female footy fans. So, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for this episode of Donnie's Disposals, and we'll be back with more footy coverage very, very soon.